What's going on? It's Astronaut H, and this is the What More Do You Want Network. Now, in this video, I will be discussing breaking news in the NBA today, and that is the Indiana Pacers have traded Bruce Brown, Jordan Nwora, and 3 first-round picks to the Toronto Raptors for Pascal Siakam. This trade is definitely going to make, I believe, both teams benefit in the end. But before we get into that, there is also more moving parts to the trade. You do have the New Orleans Pelicans, which is the third team in the deal. Kyrie Williams Jr. is also going to the Raptors, and a second round pick to the Pacers. 2 of the first round picks going to the Raptors are for 2024. Indiana owns selection and the lesser of the Utah, Houston, LA Clippers, Oklahoma City pick. That is a lot. While the third in 2026 is coming from Indiana. Now, with the Indiana Pacers acquiring Pascal Siakam, the first things first you have to discuss is whether or not Pascal Siakam will ultimately sign with the Pacers long term. This is a player in Siakam who is averaging 22 points, 6 rebounds, and almost 5 assists a game. A player that is a former champion, a player that with the Toronto Raptors has shown promise, whether it was his scoring, whether it's his passing, his rebounding, just his game-winning ability. You know, a player that, if you are a fan of the Toronto Raptors, you hate to see him go, but in return, you get a Bruce Brown, who's a former champion, a Jordan Nwora, who's a young emerging player. Now, when you look at the Pacers, they didn't even have Bruce Brown for a whole year before electing to trade him. And I think that's because the Pacers are in a all-in now mode. They realize that Tyrese Halliburton is one of the 3 better point guards in the NBA. They realize that Miles Turner is still, he's not past his prime. You still have Ben Mathurin, who's young. You have a Buddy Hield, who's a lights-out shooter. And you couple that with Pascal Siakam, that's a formidable rotation right there. When you look at a starting lineup, that team right there can boast well. We're talking about a team who's already scoring an insane amount of points nightly. We're talking about a team that's on pace to score anywhere between 130 to 150 a game. Even though they are coming off of a loss versus the Utah Jazz in their last outing. So, if you are the Indiana Pacers, seeing this move be made, it should definitely make you excited to be a fan. I will say that first and foremost. If you are a fan of the Toronto Raptors, you realize that the youth movement is now more than ever present. Because now not getting rid of, but you let Fred VanVleet walk. You trade Pascal Siakam. You trade Precious Achiuwa. You trade, OG Anunoby. And you acquire young emerging talent, RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickley, a number of first round picks that you may not use, or you could trade and use later on down the line as another acquisition for another player to go around with Barnes. And I believe that's what it is. The Toronto Raptors are in a position where they want to build around Scotty Barnes. He's young, former Rookie of the Year. The guy can rebound. The guy can score. He can pass. So, and he's a more than formidable defender. So, you add that with a Bruce Brown who wasn't having a bad season. Let's not act like Bruce Brown was having a bad season for the Pacers. He was not having a bad season by no stretch of the word with the Indiana Pacers. He's a former champion. You look at what the Pacers are trying to build, and I believe they are trying to build on the cusp of the success that they had going into the in-season tournament. And they want to be right there with the other teams in the conferences. Whether it's New York, whether it's Orlando, whether it's Chicago, whether it's Cleveland, whoever, Brooklyn, that the Pacers see themselves right there with, they think this trade will put them a little bit above those teams that I mentioned. Now, are we talking about Philadelphia? No. Are we talking about Milwaukee? No. Miami? Maybe. Boston? By no stretch of the imagination. But the acquisition of Pascal Siakam, I think, should boast well for the Pacers. I think it's another weapon for Tyrese Halliburton to take advantage of, a guy that's already leading the league in assists. When he gets healthy and we can actually see how this offense looks full throttle, then, we'll be having a different discussion in about another month or two going into All-Star, seeing if Pascal Siakam signs the long-term extension with the Pacers is yet to be seen, but I believe they are in talks from what I've read. So, like I said, to see who the winner of this trade will be is yet to be determined because, I feel like trades and things like that don't start to rear benefits until later on down the road. So, when we get to the latter stages of this season and maybe going into next year or a few years from now, we'll see how this trade boasts well for both teams. So, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. NBA fans, Indiana Pacers fans, Toronto Raptors fans, or if this is just your first time tuning into the channel, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can know anytime a video is being uploaded to the channel. It's Astronaut H. This is the What More Do You Want Network, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.